Does this face look familiar to you all? This is a buck wild story that's been running through the news, and for my part, God bless this family, as it is rumored that they are finally going after what I believe is a civil suit against the people that unalived their son Labor Day weekend 2023. This is just going to be a familiar tale, the same familiar tale that I've told you all over and over and over and over. It started back in the day with Shanda Scherer and Michelle Avila. If those names don't sound familiar, please look them up. This stuff had been underhandedly happening for a long time, even before the onset of these social media platforms. It's just getting worse. So before Noah Pressgrove, of course, we're going to go kind of in backwards order. There was Skylar Neese and Bobby Kent. And Bobby Kent was unalived out of jealousy by his friend and some of his friends, probably acquaintances, people he knew, who all frequented the same group and slept with the same girls. And basically his best friend, last name Puccio, had a jealous girlfriend that wanted him out of the way. Bobby Kent is his changed name. His family is actually Iranian, and they just gave themselves an American name. So he is of Iranian, Persian heritage, or was. Bobby Kent. Skylar Neese was snuck out of the house to meet with her friends, and when her father went to wake her up the next day, for more than a month I think they hadn't known what happened to her, and finally they found out that the two friends had done it. But this was a sad story because Skylar's mother said that she would have never suspected these two. Every indication was that this was a tragic accident. This is a tragic unaliving. But she never would have suspected the two girls who had done it. Then there was Kanika Jenkins. Went to a hotel with some people. Somehow her body's found in a freezer and she froze to death. Sorry, YouTube. That's not a self-deletion. And to my knowledge, the people who worked at that hotel said there is no way that she could have locked herself in that freezer. Footage indicates she may not have. Kanika Jenkins is what really started the ball rolling with this subject with me. Shankila Robinson, need I not say more, because like Noah Pressgrove, her family's looking for a civil suit. And to my knowledge, I don't think Mexico ever let this go. So remember, Shankila went down to Mexico with some friends and was humiliated and unalived on social media before our eyes. Or we at least assaulted and then just didn't make it hours later. Now back to Noah Pressgrove. He goes to a party Labor Day weekend, 19 years old, 2023. He's found the next day on the side of the road with no clothes on, and I think it was his head split into two. Or they said his skull. But authorities swear up and down this is not an unaliving by other people. So, I can't use the M word. How does a kid go to a party fully dressed and he's found on the side of the road with no clothes on and his head split in two, and you don't see tire tracks really did it? Because I don't know the whole story myself. You expect me to believe somebody didn't do that on purpose? What y'all think we look like? Why does this story keep on circulating? Because it's messed up and it's wrong. And these so-called friends he grew up with suddenly all want to keep quiet about it. Kanika Jenkins to me is what started this journey, but Noah Pressgrove to me is a confirmation that when I was his age and I left for the Navy, I did the right thing getting away from certain people. Because people who you think like you can have a deep-seated jealousy of you and you never see it coming till it's too late. Skylar snuck out the house, and yeah, true enough, that's what teenagers do. But she probably thought she could get back in before the next morning and her parents would not catch her. She didn't sneak out thinking that she was never going to see her family again, especially with two girls that she probably thought, though they were fighting over social media, typical girl stuff. That's probably what she thought it was. Bobby Kent was friends with Puccio. He didn't realize that this guy's girlfriend was getting out of hand. And as of right now, that woman has finally gotten out of prison because she got pregnant by Puccio, the guy who helped unalive Bobby Kent, which was his friend. She's an optician and has since married and probably, I think, divorced and had another child outside of the child she had while she was locked in jail because she was pregnant at the time before instigating. Shankila's family's not letting it go and suing. Thank God. God bless them, because that was done on camera. It's hard to refute that. My opinion, the United States needs to cooperate with Mexico. They went down there with the premeditation of harming another human and they took her life. We need to participate with that. Kanika Jenkins didn't think that those people hated her so bad that night that they were going to go lock her in a freezer. Noah Pressgrove didn't think that the people he was partying with, and this is a real disturbing story. Y'all got to go look him up seriously. He didn't think those people had intended harm for him, but come on, for somebody to have stripped him and did that to his skull, there was passion behind that. Premeditation and passion behind that. Told y'all I wasn't going to let this subject go. You see, people don't like you the way you think they do. And naturally, when you're young, as all of these people were, because all of them were under the age of 30 when they all lost their lives, you don't think it can ever happen to you. You see these stories in the news and you don't conceptualize that the people who you are around never liked you the way you thought they did, or if they did at some point grew jealousy. So let me ask each and every one of you a question. Life changes, your goals change, the people who you value change. Sometimes you're forced to change based on the loss of a job or the loss of someone special to you who went to the afterlife. Sometimes you took financial losses. When it comes to the loss of people, particularly those not related to you, because you can't control who you're related to, you can just stay away from them. When those relationships become toxic, do y'all know how to walk away? And when I say this to you, trust me when I say that this is something that was hard for me to do. Because I wanted people for years to love me so much that I didn't realize it was okay to be disliked and stay my distance. All 5 of these cases have one hallmark in common. There was groupthink of premeditation to take these people's lives, and there was groupthink to isolate them somewhere where you were just remote enough that people can't ask questions. Either way, there was premeditation with all 5 of these people. People who they thought liked them didn't like them like that. You can't really blame them again when you're young and this stuff happens. You tell yourself, it can't happen to me. My core group, yeah, we have our little fights and stuff like that. It's easy at that age to ignore escalation because you're young and your emotions get the best of you, and you can rationalize it to something else. I brought up Michelle Avila and Shanda Scherer because those unalivings happened a long time ago, and it fits this same narrative, groupthink, when groups of people want one or more people out of the picture. The same can be said for a young lady sitting in prison right now named Christine Paolila. I'll let y'all look her up as well. Because you think this is just some mean girl stuff, people getting on camera, taping each other and fighting each other, and the mean girl stuff. This has nothing to do with gender and everything to do with some deep-seated jealousy of something. Now, this is not a video where I'm telling you to go and look at people who look at you sideways and analyze if they could unalive you or if they're jealous of you. I'm asking you to look for signs of escalation when people pretend to like you and they really don't. In each of these stories, as we've progressed into this new society, people are taking more sadistic practices to harm people. Skylar Niece was knifed over 50 times until she just was knifed so many times she stopped screaming. Bobby Kent, I'm still studying that, so I don't know everything, but I know enough to know that at some point some jealousy with his best friend's girlfriend played a role, and now she gets to live outside of prison, outside of the pain she's caused the Kent family. Shankila, in my opinion, was too nice to certain people for too long. And I think in a misguided way, needed to prove to those people that she still loved them, and no matter how much she moved up, she's still the same person. And I think she missed the mark when she realized that when you elevate, everybody can't elevate with you. And the reason it was important to juxtapose her with Noah Pressgrove, not so much because their situations are similar from a socioeconomic maybe background, but because I think Noah is an extension of Shankila. When you look at his background, his playing football, there's a time when it was likely that this kid had some potential, and he was eventually going to leave that town and be a better person than he was there. We all do stuff that we don't like to do when we're young. Somebody didn't want him to leave. Now, this is my theory on that, or was jealous of what he could have become and took out the problem. And he probably, being a laid back person, brushed it off and saw it as no big deal. All of these people were knocking at the door of the death angel and had no idea it was coming, but the people who wanted to take them out did. This isn't a story of judgment. This isn't a story of lack of discernment. This is a call for you to look around and look at clues and realize when people really don't like you the way that you think that they do. Own the fact that it's okay to be disliked. Own the fact that it's okay to be a social pariah in the current situation you're in, and that it won't last forever. Here's an image. You see this little kid. Some people can grow up with someone all their life, think that person loved them, and that person still gonna take them out. This doesn't mean that you stop loving people and that you stop giving your love to people and that you stop making friends. It means that you should start to love your own company rather than surround yourself by people who don't care about you. There was no way to catch this because everything leading up to these stories, all five, there was no indication that these people were going to do that. That's why the parents didn't care about their kids leaving the house outside of Skylar niece. She snuck out after working her teenage job. She was unalive 2 days after 4th of July, a decade or so ago. If you've been into it with someone, one sign that you want to always look for is that they suddenly want to do things off the beaten path. And they want you so isolated that there's no way for you to escape. Because I think Bobby Kent was unalived and then thrown in a pit where there were supposed to be gators, and they were hoping that the gators ate his body, but they never did. And I think someone's guilty conscience got the best of them, or that was a situation where they started going around telling people what they did, and then before long the arrest happened. Some of them are still in prison and some are out. Believe it or not, it's okay that people don't like you the way you think they should. To not have their like is actually for your own protection. And this ideal that those relationships will last a lifetime is not always true. Accept it, move on before it escalates, and know that it's okay to hold on to the good memories and not cling on too long and risk your livelihood. All right, I encourage y'all to go look these stories up. All right, see y'all. Take care, be safe, pay attention to your surroundings and who you allow around you, because their jealousy may cost you your life.